Welcome to the Sierra Leone Türkiye Investment and Trade Seminar, which is taking place in Istanbul. This seminar is organized by the Embassy of Sierra Leone in Türkiye under the auspices of the President, Julius Maada Bio's Big Five Game Changers. And this agenda underscores Sierra Leone's commitment to fostering sustainable development and economic growth through international partnerships. The aim of this platform is to promote priority sectors like health and education, tourism, agriculture, and business.
On behalf of His Excellency, President Dr. Julius Maada Bio, and the staff of the Embassy, I am honored to welcome you to this historic event by the Sierra Leone Embassy in Türkiye. Sierra Leone is rapidly becoming an attractive destination for investment, businesses, and trade. The country hosts a range of prominent international companies. Numerous small and medium-sized enterprises have also established trade ties with Sierra Leone. The country offers significant opportunities for businesses seeking new markets and investment destinations with its natural resources, arable farmland, beautiful beaches, numerous tourist sites, a growing urban population, and evolving infrastructure. His Excellency President Dr. Julius Maada Bio's Big Five Game Changers agenda, namely feed salon, agriculture and food security, human capital development, youth empowerment scheme, revamping the public service architecture, and technology and infrastructure, underscores Sierra Leone's commitment to fostering sustainable development and economic growth through international partnerships, and I commend our cherished sponsors, nicely displayed on your bills as you see, and I commend them and the efforts of staff of the Embassy for this timely step of convening an investment and trade seminar of this magnitude. Sierra Leone and Türkiye share excellent diplomatic ties. His Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of the Republic of Turkey and His Excellency President Dr. Julius Maada Bio of the Republic of Sierra Leone equally share excellent brotherly relations. In a bilateral meeting on the margins of the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in April 2025, among other issues that needed immediate action, the two heads of state agreed that the trade volume between our two countries should increase from its current state to at least 500 million United States dollars. It is fulfilling that today, 30th May 2025, the Sierra Leone Embassy has taken action. This seminar will provide comprehensive insights into the current economic and investment landscape in Sierra Leone and highlight specific business opportunities across key sectors.
At a time when the world is upended, at a time when age-old relationships, age-old partnerships, age-old cooperation is under strain. 80 years ago, when we emerged from the ashes of the Second World War, a new global effort was born, and that effort was liberal internationalism. This effort was to ensure that no matter where a country is geographically located, that they have the opportunity to exchange what they have for prosperity for their people. My being here today to represent the President speaks to the value that Sierra Leone attaches to the relationship between our two countries. Today, we are gathered not to simply represent our businesses and on the part of Sierra Leoneans to represent our country's interest, but because we have a shared vision, Turkey and Sierra Leone, this is why we've committed ourselves today to having this first high level, perhaps this is the highest level of congregation of business persons and representatives of the government of Sierra Leone. As I started, globalization is on the strain. Liberal internationalism is on the strain. Those who were the grand architect of this measure of elimination of poverty, inequality, and for the forging of global prosperity, are now moving away from this international system, believing that the international system is a barrier to the maximization of their influence and control of the global economy. So we are at a crossroads where new partnerships and new alliances must be forged. Old partnerships and old alliances must be strengthened for us to survive through this very difficult geopolitical time of our life. I therefore want to thank the Honorable Ambassador, Her Excellency Ambassador Frances Anderson, for so quickly putting together this investment gathering. I think you are here a little, perhaps, if my calculation is right, you are here a little over 6 months, exactly 5 months, to be able to congregate the business community of Turkey with bringing on board very important cabinet ministers of His Excellency's government to sit and discourse, to open doors of possibilities and create numerous channels of benefit for our two peoples. So this occasion today is not only a milestone in a sea of accomplishment that our two countries and peoples have accomplished, but it is to reaffirm Sierra Leone's unlimited desire for development and investment. As Minister of Foreign Affairs, I build my premises in investment fora like this, that we have to be mindful of what is happening in the world. We have to be very mindful. And it is based on this consideration of what is happening in the world that we must create partnerships that will sustain, partnerships that will stand the test of time. The embassy here in Turkey is less than 10 years, but the number of investment from Turkey to Sierra Leone is a representation of the value, the commitment, and the determination we place on the development of our people in Sierra Leone, and also creating opportunities for investors like you to bring your resources, technology, your culture, and all the good things you have for the people of Sierra Leone. His Excellency the President of our country, President Julius Maada Bio, and His Excellency the President of the Republic of Turkey have put us on the marching order. And that marching order is to expand our bilateral relations beyond politics, but more so in economic terms to bring benefit for our two peoples. You know, when I served as Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources some years back, I used to interface with a lot of investors from Turkey. What distinguishes Turkish investors from perhaps many of the known investors that beat their path to the African continent is the fact that Turkish investment go with human face. They go with empathy. They go with the sincerity that builds trust. And it is a trust that breaks barriers, and it is trust that establishes opportunities for people. And so, like I said, we are on a marching order. This event today is not in isolation. It is in response to the call of President Erdogan and President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone for us to deepen our bilateral relations, especially in the growth sector. The President carved 5 encapsulating priorities for Sierra Leone, which are Feed Sierra Leone, an agricultural ambition to make agriculture the mainstay of our economy. It is so because climate change is having a devastating impact on our livelihoods, the way we act, the way we live, the way we do businesses. Climate change is posing a risk to sustainability. And that is why smart agriculture, industrialized agriculture, remains the foremost priority of the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And that is why the Minister of Agriculture is here today to meet with the investors that are interested in the agro-industry. The President also, in his 5 areas of priorities, has capitalized on human capital development, investing in the human capital of the Republic of Sierra Leone, our citizens in general, so we'll have a labor force that is healthy, educated, and one that has the skills and experiences to support your investment and to support the government of Sierra Leone to run inclusive development for our people. Turkey, like many of these countries that lay between the African continent and Europe, continue to suffer the consequences of uncontrolled and illegal migration. No amount of political statements can minimize illegal migration from Africa to Europe. They will say the grass is always greener in the imagination of a sedentary person, a person that does not travel. The other end is greener than where they are. So the attraction for our young people to move away from our continent, dreading the difficulties of the Saharan desert, sometimes making it along the Mediterranean Sea to Europe, and sometimes, unfortunately, the fatal end of our citizens who strive to look for opportunities elsewhere. It is in this consideration that the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone has also made it a priority to invest in the youth and young people of our country, the real engine of Africa's economic progress, the young people. So by investing in Sierra Leone and by investing in our people, our young people, we will help the Europeans, we will help our partners to control illegal migration, create opportunities in our own countries as well. And so that is why the President also made youth employment and youth empowerment a priority in his government. You will take your investment to our country, but if you do not have a vibrant public sector that will do the spade work for the formation of investment, the thriving of investment, and the profitability of investment, it will not be a reality. So therefore, His Excellency is revamping the public space of Sierra Leone to ensure that we have functional institutions that will respond to your investment needs in our country. The 5th, but by no measure the last, is investment in technology and infrastructure to modernize our digital and physical environment. Mindful of the fact that when ships and seagoing vessels were discovered and invented, they left a devastating, nefarious, not so pleasant scars on the African continent. This opportunity of using seagoing vessels to bring opportunity to Africa became the vessel that took strong men and women from the African continent to work under ignoble circumstances in the Western world in what is dubbed as the transatlantic slave trade. At the advent of gunpowders, we see how weapons at the fall of the Cold War, weapons proliferated the African continent, creating instability. Now we are in a technological age where we have to pace up. Everything we do has to be driven by technology. And that is the delight that we have in Turkey, in our relationship with the Republic of Turkey. Not only do you invest your money in African countries, we've seen verifiable examples where you have transferred technology to the African continent. So we place value in our relationship with the government of Turkey and the persons-to-persons relationship that exists between our two countries. Excellencies, Sierra Leone is a full-functioning democracy, which makes our country a viable investment environment where your investment is protected by the rule of law and where your investment is protected by the many, many functional and compelling regulations that we have for every sector in our country. We have achieved a lot. In the past couple of years, if all the grand things that we've achieved are an indication of how Turkey and Sierra Leone will continue to create prosperity for its two people, I want to say I can only imagine that better days are yet to come for our relations. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Sierra Leone sits in a very strategic geography as Turkey is straddling between Asia and Europe. Turkey's investment in seaports and airports is an indication of investment that wants to reside in Africa, and especially in our country. 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, we had the privilege of having Suma, a Turkish investment, building a brand new airport in our country, which, as a gateway to our country, it relishes us with great pride, and it shows our readiness for investment in all the different sectors of our economy, especially in the mining sector, in agriculture, in tourism, trade, and investment. So, besides the pressure that came from the ambassador of the Republic of Sierra Leone, that I must be here today, my being here is sanctioned by the president. We may not be able to sign agreement here because we do have members of our private sector as well here. But this meeting will just lay the foundation for further deliberations, for looking for opportunities in our country. My colleagues are here, the Minister of Tourism, who is one of my predecessors in the Foreign Office. She's armed with the tools to ensure that your tourist going to Sierra Leone will find an oasis of paradise. Distinguished investors, this is an investment meeting, and I know investors do not have the patience for long speeches, but to look for opportunities to benefit shareholders and benefit host nations. So as we are about to start this investment forum today in earnest, I wish you all the very best. And let's discuss. Let us ask the critical questions, those questions that may tend to pose high barriers against investment. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we have the opportunity today. I thank you, Madam Ambassador, for inviting me. I just got off from my flight to ensure that when I'm on my flight going back, you inform me that a number of Turkish investors have expressed interest, especially in tourism and agriculture. We have many minerals in our country. but will truly appreciate investment in agriculture, tourism, trade and investment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let the party begin. Let us sign the agreement. Let us forge an opportunity for our two peoples. Let us ensure that our partnership will continue on the basis of trust, on the basis of partnership, and on the basis of sovereign equality. I thank you.
Bu forum aynı zamanda Türkiye'nin Afrika kıtasıyla yürütmüş olduğu çok boyutlu dış politika vizyonunun da somut bir yansımasıdır. Türkiye olarak Afrika kıtasının genç nüfusu, zengin kültürel birikimi ve muazzam doğal kaynaklarıyla 21. yüzyılın yükselen değeri olarak ortaya çıktığını görüyoruz. Küresel barış, istikrar ve refahın Afrika olmadan tesis edilemeyeceği her geçen gün daha iyi anlaşılmaktadır. Türkiye olarak biz de Afrika ile yüzyıllara dayanan tarihi, kültürel ve beşeri münasebetlerimizden aldığımız güç ve ilhamla bugüne kadar olduğu gibi günümüzde de Afrika ile birlik ve dayanışma içinde olmaya devam edeceğiz. Türkiye ve Afrika arasında kurulan dostluk ve kardeşlik bağlarının en özel örneklerinden biri ülkemizde gerçekleşen deprem felaketinden sonra Afrikalı kardeşlerimizin göstermiş olduğu fedakar ve candan destek olmuştur. Bu çerçevede Sierra Leone'nin kendi imkanlarını seferber ederek ülkemizin yardıma koşanlar arasında yer alması, insani ilişkilerimizin ve gönül bağlarımızın ulaştığı seviyeyi açıklıkla ortaya koymaktadır. Türkiye'nin Afrika dış politikasının merkezi konuları arasında elbette ikili ilişkileri geliştirmek vardır ve Sierra Leone'de burada özel bir yer tutmaktadır.
So, Ma, what do you hope to expect at today's seminar?
Today I'm expecting to see not just a huge turnout, but very insightful discussions and more information about how investors can move from Turkey to Sierra Leone and then from Sierra Leone to Turkey as well. And to definitely, let me reiterate, that to work towards, this would help us to scale up the trade volumes between the two countries. So we, with the presence of 4 of my cabinet ministers and 2 from the Turkish side, with other directors from other ministries, and particularly also the business community here in Turkey and the Council of Business Sierra Leone Turkey. This is something that we expect to produce very huge results from, that will increase everything else we're having here, to increase it to a highest of levels.
All right, Ma, so what would you say it took to organize this kind of program?
Thank you, Mercy. You know, that's really interesting, because it took a whole lot.
It took longer working hours, it took shorter sleeping hours, but definitely it has paid off at the end of it all, because the teamwork was massive and every hand was on deck.
Hello, Your Excellency. We are very happy to have you here in Turkey today. So, as the Minister of, Foreign Affairs, what do you think about this kind of program and, the relationship between Turkey and Sierra Leone?
Thank you very much. And Turkey and Sierra Leone have a long history of partnership diplomatically, but we have only cemented that partnership by way of having Sierra Leone's embassy opened in Turkey a little over 5 years ago, and also for having a full working Turkish embassy in Freetown, Sierra Leone. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have the constitutional mandate not only to drive the general political and social foreign policy of our country, but there is an international cooperation aspect of it, for which we are here today to find opportunities for our country and to also express in clear and safe terms the opportunities that we have in our country, which could be harnessed by Turkish investors.
We've just seen you speak at the program today. I'd like you to explain to us what you hope to see from this program, the result of this program.
Thank you very much for this question. Today it's a very important day for relations between Turkey and Sierra Leone. Today we had a very comprehensive big event together with the Turkish and Sierra Leonean business people. We have ministers from Sierra Leone, and this event is mainly an event to attract investment opportunities in Sierra Leone and to bring together our companies. This idea of having this meeting was first expressed and instructed by our presidents in Antalya Diplomacy Forum in their talks. So in a short time we are able to hold this meeting. Turkey is an active player in African market and a trusted partner for all the continent. And Sierra Leone is one of the closest ally and friend in the continent, especially in the Western African region. We do have excellent political relations and economic relations. Our companies are active there in generating electricity, energy sources in the country. They do have also projects in ports, in airports. Our companies are running to airports too. But still we see that there are some need to unlock the potential. We can do more than this. This is why we are holding this event. Especially we are trying to encourage our companies to have their investments in the fields of agriculture first, tourism and mining in the country in Sierra Leone. There is a huge opportunity in Western Africa, and Sierra Leone is a good example of this. As you may know, Türkiye is adopting an African strategy for almost 20 years, and our exports in these 20 years increased almost 8 times. And also our investments in the continent also increased very rapidly. We do encourage our companies to invest more in diverse sectors in the continent. So we are going to use this opportunity today to have it as a landmark to increase more further our investments in Sierra Leone. So as the government, we are going to encourage and also guide our companies to invest more in the country.
Hello sir, and we would like you to introduce yourself to us and tell us about what you have experienced at the program today.
Thank you so much. My name is Selman. I wasn't born in Africa, but I live in Ghana for 14 years. And I am an export manager of one of the firearm company in Turkey. I'm so happy they invite me this program from Sierra Leone Embassy. I'm interested with 33 countries in Africa, and there is a lot of opportunities in West Africa. We visited CIDEF exhibition 2 weeks ago in Burkina Faso, and we are planning to do another program in 2 weeks' time to visit another 5 countries in West Africa. And there is a lot of opportunities for us in Sierra Leone. I'm trying to find my best contact, how we can go and find our dealers in Sierra Leone.